Well, I thought they came out today. They put yesterday behind them and moved forward. I thought the effort today was a lot better than yesterday. Like we said, we're going to move forward. We're going to concentrate on the next 7 practices.
You have so many practices. You've had them in the spring, you've had them through fall camp, and now as you prepare for opponent, just describe the difficulty in dealing with the angst of guys that are obviously just ready to hit somebody else.
Well, I know we're anxious, but, our focus is take one day at a time and get better and worry about ourselves. And that's what these guys have done. They've come out every day during 2-a-days and gotten better. And that's what we got to continue to do. And if we can do that, the good things are going to happen for the Sycamores.
I know you have the mock game tomorrow, but how did you really design these first couple of practices as you're integrating with school and everything going into game playing for Eastern Illinois?
Well, we want to start to, be able to hit, and then as we get 7 days out or 6 days out, we got to start to, tie it down a little bit. And we've been able to do that early. We've hit pretty hard throughout 2-a-days. We had a pretty lengthy scrimmage the other day. We pounded today, and then we'll come out tomorrow and we'll get some things done in the scrimmage.
Curt, as far as the quarterbacks are concerned, we've already talked a lot about Isaac. Obviously, he's your number one right now. But it just generally with the quarterbacks, all of them, talk about integrating them into this offense, what they've had to learn, what their learning process has been, and how they've gone about trying to accomplish what you want to see out of them at this stage of the game.
Well, sure. I'll start with the group. I've said it all along. We've said it all along. It's a very unselfish group. That's what makes them such a good group. They help each other. And, Coach Hecklinski and the offensive staff are great teachers. And they've come out here and they've taught these guys. And these guys are guys that work at it. They work at their craft. They're in every day and they're working to get better and they're helping each other. And it shows out here. When Isaac makes a mistake, Cade's talking to him. When Cade makes a mistake, Aaron's talking to him. Aaron makes a mistake, Isaac's talking to him. And, a perfect example, you got Zach goes in there at wide receiver, and it's like he's been playing it. I mean, there's a group that's all in, and we couldn't ask much, anything more from that group.
We talked a lot about Isaac Harker. Cade Sparks looks to me like the number 2. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but what has he brought to the table? What are you seeing out of him? He's a little bit earlier in his stage of development than Isaac is, and what are you seeing out of Cade so far?
He's a smart football player. He comes out. You can see his command. He's got a bright future. When he's out there, he brings a presence out there. He knows what everyone's doing, and he gets guys lined up. The thing I really like about both of them, you're not going to play a perfect game. You make a mistake, you line up and play the next play. Isaac threw an interception, came back, threw a nice pass for a first down, and just kept moving, put it behind him.
How much do you feel like you know about the mechanics of the quarterbacks at this point? How much does preseason and camp teach you about how long they're holding the ball, how well they're timing, what they need to do to the offense? What kind of grasp do you have on that at this point versus what you're going to see in a live game here, a little over a week from now?
If it was up to Coach Hecklinski, we'd go live on the quarterbacks. And I made that choice that we weren't going to do that. But we weren't going to stop bringing pressure on them. And there's times we've pushed the envelope and we're right on these guys. But we're giving them pressure on every play. And there's times where we're hitting the quarterback's arm, we're hitting the quarterbacks. But that's because we're not letting up. I don't want the D-line not to be getting up the field, but I want the quarterbacks to feel the presence. Coach Hecklinski's talking about time and getting the ball out, and I see it every day. I mean, it shows. These guys are getting the ball out on time, making good decisions under duress, and I really like the progress that they both have made.
As far as the running backs are concerned, that was a position where you had a lot of returning talent. Lamont Booker comes back from an injury that kept him out last year. Jaquan Keys has plenty of experience. You moved Dimitri Taylor out to defensive back, Titus McCoy, of course, and there's others. Just talk about the core that you had to build around, and especially with the way you want to run your offense this year, which is going to be, more of a run-oriented offense.
Yep. Our running backs, we feel like we got a good group, but those guys got to be a great group for us to really roll, and they set the tempo. The other day in practice, when we started off practice, day 1 of Eastern Illinois, Lamont Booker took the ball and he was shot out of a cannon, and that set the tempo. And that's where it's going to start with this offense. And that O-line enjoys blocking for them because they know if they can give them a crease, they're going to take it. And we've got a good group. We're going to make them great. And if we can do that and that group does that, we're going to have a great year.
We'll see when the games come up, and I know you don't want to give away anything, but how do you anticipate the workload for these running backs? How do you kind of keep, obviously Lamont from being too burdened by too many carries? What's kind of just generally, what's your feeling on kind of balancing out the carries in terms of how much the running backs have it?
I don't know if we actually know today where we're at as far as number of carries. I do know we got 4 backs that a lot of people would love to have in their program. And, if anyone's in the game, Coach Eklinski and Coach Sewell aren't going to hear anything from me because we have confidence in all 4 of them.
Sounds good.
The mock game tomorrow, what's kind of the setup for it and why you think it's important to have a mock game a week out?
Well, it's real important. It's our first time together. It's our first time of coming into the stadium. It's the first time of being on the sidelines, going through the coin toss, put them in a lot of different situations, and put them in situations that may or may not occur. But it's a good learning experience. You're going to find something out that we hadn't covered. We're going to make sure our communication with the headsets is on course for our game. But it's really just a running trial of what we want to do a week from tomorrow.